has a lot more than just the story of our ancestors. It is also called a Dharma Shastra. It has lots of very, very profound discourses as conversations, like Shanti Parva. Shanti Parva, which is the largest sarga, parva of Mahabharata, which is an interesting conversation between Yudhishthira and Bhishma. So this is after the war. The war is over, and Bhishma Pitama is lying on the bed of arrows. And Yudhishthira is struck with this guilt, intense guilt about whatever has happened. Lots of destruction has happened after the war. And at that time, Krishna suggests, he says that why don't you go to Bhishma Pitama? He'll anyways do his Deha Tyag soon enough. But Bhishma Pitama has immense knowledge collected from him. And that is when the whole discourse happens. So that part is in Shanti Parva. It has lots of topics covered. It has lots of philosophy covered. But the most important part and most relevant from today's context was, what is Raj Dharma? And Raj Dharma is, of course, the dharma for a Raja. But then is it relevant today is the question. Because at the end of the day, a Raja is the one who administers, who governs, right? But a leader of an organization is also that. He also has to take different kinds of decisions for all the stakeholders, which also the Raja has been doing, right? What Shanti Parva does, and it builds on the Smriti Shastras that we've already had. It talks about what is the, as I said, the dharma of a Raja. And he says, Loka Ranjanam evatra Raja Dharma Sanatana. Rajnanam Dharma Sanatana. Loka Ranjanam, welfare, delight of the people. Delight of your people. How do you ensure that happens, right? Today also, what do we talk about in organizations? Customer satisfaction, employee delight. It's exactly the same thing. And then he goes into the details of different aspects of administration, governance, and all of that, yeah? And you'll read in detail in the book. I'm not going into the different aspects of it, but he also talks about geopolitics. He talks about how taxation should happen. He talks about how should security, internal and external security, this should be taken care of. When he talks about treasury, he has, and justice, in fact, both together, he says that for certain crimes, you don't have to give physical punishment. You should impose penalties. Okay. But while saying you should impose penalties, he also says something very interesting. He says these penalties shouldn't become a medium to expand your treasury. And I specifically wanted to talk about that in Delhi because I remember a few months ago, I was in one of these Ola cabs. और कोई तो उनको रोक रहा था. You know, there are lots of these people standing around in Delhi. And this guy just sped by. And I'm like, क्या हुआ? आप ऐसे क्यों कर रहे हो? तो he's like, हाँ, बहुत ठुल्ले लगा रखे हैं. क्योंकि उन सबको target दिया जाता है, दिन का. Yeah? So that target din ka is basically to expand the treasury. Use these fines as one of the ways to grow or rather fill your treasury. And of course, we know what else happens. So while penalty is definitely one of the go-tos which Bhishma recommends, but he also puts these caveats. And he puts these caveats on most of the things that he's talking about. So if you see the overall principle behind what he's talking about Raj Dharma is that, of course, the Raja has to do all that he needs to do. But what is the pivot? The pivot is the compassion towards your praja. And in that he says, how should a Raja rule? It is like a pregnant mother. Now look at the analogy he gives. Like a pregnant mother. Anybody can tell me why would he say like a pregnant mother? Any idea? कि वो राजा की बात कर रहे हैं और गर्भवती स्त्री की क्यों बात कर रहे हैं? Himself and the child. And how? You see, when a lady is pregnant and she may love coffee, 9 महीने वो कॉफी छोड़ देंगे. उनको कहेंगे कि वैसे तो सुबह उठ के can't live without coffee, can't wake up without coffee. But when she is pregnant, just because of that bachcha, she'll give up everything. And that is the underlying principle of Raj Dharma. The Praja Sarvopari. Whatever needs to be done for the Praja needs to be done. So this comes in Shanti Parva, and I mean, it's very detailed. I think a lot of first principles which are relevant even in our day-to-day dealings in our organizations. But apart from that, there is something called as Vidur Niti, where Vidur has a great understanding of people. And he talks about his observations about people. How do you observe people? What do you learn from them? And how do you be careful of certain kinds of people? So it's very detailed in that sense. It's almost like a note on leadership and dealing with people. Then there are many other short stories that I have taken, but one of them is called Vyadha Gita. I'll mention that and answer the Bhishma question and then probably stop. Vyadha Gita. So Vyadha is a hunter or a meat seller. So in Vyadha Gita, the meat seller is giving a discourse on dharma to a Brahman. And this is, for the first time you read it, you're like, oh wow, but they always told us we are a casteist society, right? And it was always oppression, and oppression went only one way. This is always what we are taught. But here, the lesson of dharma is being taught by a meat seller. Again, a meat seller. Aajkal to there is a lot of this controversy on Shri Ram meat khate the, nahi khate the, and people are getting all triggered about it, right? But here a meat seller is actually teaching dharma to a Brahman, and the Brahman is very humbly seeking it. In fact, he goes to the meat seller to get the lessons on dharma, yeah? So it's a very beautiful discourse on dharma, and I would recommend all of you to read it. Even if not from the book, just go back and look up that chapter. After the yuddha ends and he's on the bed of arrows, और कृष्ण कहते हैं युधिष्ठिर को कि आप अपने पितामह से मिलो, उनसे बात करो. Yudhishthir is like, मैं कैसे उनको मुंह दिखाऊं? How do I show him my face? I have been the reason that so much destruction has happened. Anyways, finally he goes. And पता है भीष्म पितामह क्या कहते हैं? Because Krishna tells Bhishma that he's afraid to face you. And Bhishma Pitama says, for a Raja, for a Kshatriya, it doesn't matter who is on the opposing side. If the opponent is adharmi, be it a guru, be it a brother, be it a son, be it a father, it is the responsibility of the Raja to punish him and kill him. You are on the side of dharma. We all have known that. So, at that point also, Bhishma Pitama always knows that dharma is with the side of the Pandavas. तो फिर क्या हुआ? फिर उन्होंने क्यों पांडवों के साइड से नहीं लड़े? That is the question, right? What was his dharma at that point in time? Now let's understand this. When we say dharma sankat, what are we saying? That we all play different roles in life, yeah? And we have a dharma associated to the different entities that we are a part of. जैसे in our kutumba, we have a putra dharma, putri dharma, pita dharma, mata dharma, all of that. In the organization, we have a sevak dharma, employee dharma, yeah? In the Rashtra, we have a citizen dharma. ये सारा है. Now, what was the dharma sankat that Arjun was faced with? What was the dharma sankat Arjun was faced with? Kutumba dharma versus Kshatriya dharma, dharma itself, right? That was his issue. What is it with Bhishma Pitama? Let's understand this well. Of course, Kutumba dharma, but the other is also his sevak dharma. ठीक है? Who was he? He was the Senapati of the Kauravas, right? Now think of it from our perspective. हमको यहाँ बैठ के बोलना तो बहुत easy है कि अरे why did he not go on the side of the Pandavas? There was one other character in Itihas who actually went on the other side, the side of dharma. विभीषण, right? और विभीषण को हम क्या बोलते हैं?
घर का भेदी लंका ढाए.
घर का भेदी लंका ढाए. To somebody who actually went to the side of dharma, right? उनको हम ऐसे बोलते हैं. भीष्म पितामह को बोलते हैं अरे क्यों धर्म के साइड नहीं गए? आप सोचो. So this should make you understand how difficult solving a dharma sankat is. Coming back to Bhishma Pitama, let's take the example of our army. We have a general in the army, okay? We have a fight with, say, some other country. Say we are the aggressors for a wrong reason. What would we as citizens of Bharat expect our general to do? Sit and discuss the morality or his dharma towards his Rashtra. For whatever reason the war is fought. What would we expect from our army? Jump on the side of the other side? So you see, कैसे चक्र में फंसे हुए थे भीष्मा? अगर वो इस तरफ आते तो आज हम उनको कहते ट्रेटर टू हिज ओन पीपल, राइट? वो उस तरफ है तो वी सेड अरे धर्म के साइड नहीं गए. So what is right, what is wrong? It's actually a very, very difficult decision. And that is where Krishna comes in. He says, yes, it is difficult. But then, how do you ensure you make the most optimum? Right or wrong is not the prashna. The prashna is, what is the most optimum decision at that point in time? And how will you know it? The only way to know it is by becoming extremely objective, not driven by emotions. Bhishma Pitama tries very hard to stop the war. Ant tak, in fact, after he has fallen and after 10 days of the war, when Karna comes to him, he says, "Arey, abhi bhi avsar hai, jaane do, don't fight." But Karna says, now it's too late, right? He also tries different ways of ensuring Duryodhan stops the war. He says, I will not kill the Pandavas. Duryodhan is like, doesn't matter. Hum hai na, hum maar denge, aap ladai karo. But even when Bhishma Pitama is fighting, he's fighting to the best of his abilities, right? So that is why understanding what is a Dharma Sankat and still taking what is the most optimum, which he thought his role required to do, he did. With complete clarity, knowing which side he was fighting for and knowing that this is the side this is going to lose. So that also requires a very deep understanding of dharma, right? Right or wrong, हम बैठ के judge तो कर सकते हैं. But imagine if you are in his shoes, what would you do?